Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Since we all love the Maybelline brow tint so much, which is the tattoo brow, it is time to try out the big gun, something not so easy to remove, that does not look like it's another makeup product, and that also lasts after your cleansing balm. But it should also be like salon quality. It could be chemical looking dye tint, and that is definitely getting me excited, but also a bit anxious. So I have here with me the Makeup Revolution Brow Dye Tint Kit, and this one is in the shade black. I know I have very dark brows, but I think the black color instead of the brown would really give it a nice, beautiful tint, and that's what I'm looking out for. Now, funny story, even though I'm filming this video today, you have to know that the Maybelline Tattoo Brow was one of the first things I actually tested on camera, but it was one of those videos that never really made it to YouTube because I didn't have a channel back then, and more importantly, I was super conscious about how I behaved on camera or how I spoke or how I looked in all of that filming. So that video was basically thrown away. Now today, after having this channel for a couple of years, I do realize how I missed out on an opportunity by just overthinking so much and wondering if it all made sense. But I guess I wanted to also play around with makeup much more than my insecurities, and so here we are, and I'm glad I just did that. Alrighty, so story time's over now. Let's get on with the try out of this very interesting product that I have here, which is by Makeup Revolution, and let's look into what the product claims. Now, it's supposed to be a quick and easy to use brow tint to achieve darker and more defined brows with a salon quality and glossy finish. Now that sounds very exciting. Now there are a couple of warnings as well here, including the mixing ratio of the developer to the dye, which is supposed to be 1:1. Also a few more regarding the sensitivity, so please read through these if you're trying it on for the first time, just like I am. So the overall kit is about $7 and you get almost 3 products in here. So I do see, if you notice, okay, something just fell. Now this is the eyebrow tint that we have. We also have a developer solution, which is in this little brown bottle. And then we have a little spoolie right at the back. Now with that, we also have the instructions manual, and I'm going to read that quickly. Now this is interesting. The best way to apply the brow tint to your eyebrow cleanly is to apply a little bit of petroleum jelly all around your brows so that you're able to get that clean look and your skin doesn't get dyed. You can also do a little bit of a patch test of the overall mixture on the back of your arm or also on your elbow, just to see that you're not putting something that you're sensitive to. But I have this kind of a crazy thought that this is going to work for me, so I'm just gonna go ahead without doing all of that. Okay, so I have this little petri dish that I'm going to be using in order to mix both the eyebrow tint and also the developer, and we're trying to get a 1:1 ratio, so let's just do about that. So fun fact, if you didn't know, you could pierce your eyebrow tint with the back of your cap. So I have taken a little bit of the eyebrow tint here. It is creamish, and I am going to add a few drops of this developer. Now to mix both of these together, the developer is very liquidy. I'm not sure if I can really show it on the camera here, but it's almost like a liquid water. And I'm gonna mix both of these. So the spoolie is not the best thing to actually mix both the products because it's starting to hold on to the eyebrow tint and not so much of the developer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a small little lip brush that's going to be very nice to actually mix both the products, and also with the application because you can really get those strokes in. I'm going to start application on this brow, and we're going to take about 15 minutes to let it dry, and then we'll see where that goes. Now I'm going very slowly with this because I want to apply the littlest amount and build it up from there, because it does get difficult if you have to really go back in and clean it up with this stuff. So I'm going to only start with my right brow, and then we'll see how that goes on to the left. Now if you do need to clean up very quickly, as you can see, and I'm going to zoom you in, but the section at the top of my brow, especially in the center, is starting to get a little colored, and I don't want that area to be as dark as a black brow. So always keep nearby a pack of these cotton pads, and you can always dip them in water and start to clean it up very quickly. Now, since the product is really creamish, it starts to darken up after a while. So if you notice, my cotton swab also has a little bit of a purplish tone, but actually in the Petri dish, we now have a very purplish color, which is probably oxidized, and the color really starts to show up now. I'm hoping it's going to nice and dye my brow. I do think that's enough for this brow, so I'm going to go and clean up the Petri dish and start to prepare for my other brow as well. I think we're starting to see a little bit of color starting to show up. So hopefully in the next 15 minutes, which is what the time is for this product to really sit on your brow, we will start to see the color come through. Alrighty, so my Petri dish is clean. I'm starting to see a lot of color come through this brow, so I'm getting excited about that. But let's start preparing for the next batch for this brow. I'm gonna try and add very little liquid of the developer, and be careful, the developer, once it starts to flow, it really starts to flow. You need to be very careful when you're putting in a few drops. And then I'm gonna go in with the dye. Okay, so we've now mixed the dye and the developer very well. So I'm going to start coating my other brow, and we'll see how that goes. Now that the application is complete, I'm going to start to clean up any edges that may have a little bit of the product. I really don't want it to really flow out to my skin and my eyebrows to look any weirder. Now, since the brand suggests leaving it on for 15 minutes, I will be back to remove this live. Okay, so now that we've waited for 15 minutes, I do feel like my eyebrows are a little bit stuck. They feel a little bit hard, and it's a little bit difficult to make faces, so I'm assuming that's done. And so I'm going to start cleaning up all of that with these cotton pads, and I'll be doing that live so that you can all see how it's coming out. I do have a little bit of makeup on my face, and hopefully that won't get spoiled, but I just want to focus on my brows today. Okay, so I have my water bowl here, and I'm going to be damping quite a few cotton pads, and we're going to get started. Okay, so I've started to also remove it from the other brow, and I'm seeing more of the product come out rather than stick on, or at least dye my brow. So we'll see. My cotton pad is now clean, and even though it's wet, it's not removing anything anymore. So I guess we're done with the final result. Okay, so here is the end result. Let me zoom you back in and show you the side by side, so you can really decide for yourself if you really think it's worth it and if it has really given me that kind of a look. Now that you've made up your mind, let me also tell you my thoughts. I do love the color. It really matches my brows very well. I'm not so stoked about the product itself. I do think that maybe I should have kept it for a little bit longer, because it hasn't really given me a very good result, especially on the outer edges of my brow. Maybe a little bit nicely created that clean look in the inner corner and also the middle section. So that is about it that I think would make sense for me, maybe just holding on more than 15 minutes with the product. And I don't think it's a surprise right now, but I'm not really loving it. I will post in the comment section if it really stays on for a couple of days, but even this much amount of the product would not be something I would go out with. I would need to use an eyebrow kit, and that's not something I was looking forward to. If the question is about getting those clean, nice brows, then definitely this is something you could go in for. It does give a very nice, clean look to my brows, but I want something of a thicker, maybe tinting my skin a little bit behind the brows, and that's something that I was looking forward to, but I don't think that's the product that you're gonna get. This was fun, and I enjoyed hanging out with you. If you did too, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon to never miss a video. I will see you in my next video. next week. But until then, you take care, love yourself, and stay snatched. Bye.